that steep grade up ahead, slow me down, I'm making no time. I gotta keep on rolling. Those are windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, break the rhythm with the song on the radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Rodeo Gig Worker Roundtable. We have some guests tonight. We got a guesty panel tonight. So, hi, Kim Side Money Plans, who is not a guest. She's always here. And Cheyenne, Gig Work Mama. But we also have Michelle Sleet and Dashing Grandpa. Now, Michelle doesn't have a YouTube channel, or if she does, I don't think she promotes it, right? You don't do it. Okay. But for those of you that don't know Michelle, she has the two largest DoorDash groups on Facebook. I know that combined you were just reaching 200K last time we talked, so I don't even know where you're at now.
Getting to 250.
So 250,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, so
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
You know, Michelle, I'm a mod on her channel, and so is Gary, but I'm afraid to do anything because there's every time I barely am on Facebook. I go in there and it's like you have 100 or 293 approvals waiting. I'm like, what?
We get about
every time
500 requests a day for members, drivers. Yeah, a lot.
So I put the link in the show note in the description of this video to Michelle's one of her groups, her Driver Pro, because I think that everybody here would want that group.
Yeah,
you might want the other one too, but I think that's the group everybody here that might be watching replay would want. So check that out, you guys. If you're on Facebook at all, you definitely want to be part of that, especially all you Dashers, even if you're just part of your arsenal, or if you're full-time Dashers or what you're doing. There's a lot of just don't troll in there. But yeah, welcome everybody, and Dashing Grandpa's here too. And after this show, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, we often talk about it, but Brandon has a show as soon as this one ends every week, so he starts it up at the top of the hour, so check that out too. Let me see what's going on here. Hi, Chris Taylor. Hi, Thomas Mathis. Hey, Gigan. Chris Taylor, thank you for gifting some memberships. Who'd we get here? We got Thomas got one, Edward Lee got one, Ryan got one, Anzai and Nomadic. So hi to all you guys as well. Welcome. Hi, Thomas Mathis. Who else? Hi, Ellen. How are you? Hey, Tremaine. Tremaine, did you make that video? Tremaine time is really a strange thing. I see a joke about Steve time, but Tremaine time is a real thing. Hi, even Oscar. What's up, Rick? How are you? And I think I got everybody. If not, sorry about that, guys, but I think I did. Okay, we're going to go forward here then. So the first thing I wanted to discuss is last week we did talk about the Seattle thing and how you can accrue 1 day per month. Remember this? Like all you have to do is one stop in Seattle, though. That's it through the whole month. To me, my thing was, okay, well, why wouldn't you just become a DoorDasher and do one pickup or delivery into Seattle so that you get your paid day off? Because it's a paid day off. Because Kim was talking about non-paid day offs and how this could be a negative thing this week. And so I wanted to let Kim talk about that a little more. What she was talking about, because in comparison, it's way worse. But this is part of why Seattle's falling apart.
Well, I got mine. I got my information from Gary. Gary sent it to me from Middleton Technology. And it's actually Uber. We were trying to research exactly where it was coming from. I was speculating it was Seattle or New York City. It actually came from Australia, and another country is doing this. But they are if you work 28 days in a row, they are mandatory making drivers take a day off. Like you can't even turn on the Uber app. So I don't think, honestly, it's far-fetched that when you think about like state legislations and city legislations, that this could be easily rolled out to Seattle, New York City, anybody who has like strict, laws against gig workers. Once one thing rolls out and it's successful somewhere, where else do we see it? We see it come to different areas. So it's out there. It might be in different countries, but it's not far-fetched for it to get here.
Michelle, what do you hear in your groups about this? I mean, I'm sure you're hearing from the Seattle people, because we were talking about last week. They're hurting bad.
Right. So we just, for the most part, whatever DoorDash has sent out to them in their emails, people just screenshot that, and and they send it in. And because I live in St. Louis, I don't hear much about it.
Yeah.
Just
basically, I mean, what's going on is they have that, we always talk about here, it's just a bad idea to go down the road of putting these rates on it. I just truly believe that, especially with the way life fluctuates. I mean, I feel like it's always a bad deal, never pans out right. But in Seattle, they've got the per minute, the per mile, and they're set high. And then they have the $5 minimal, though, and that kind of thing's okay to me, to make sure it's not under $5. But they've basically done the same thing California and New York have done, and they've passed along the buck and said, listen, and they show the customers, hey, you're paying this new Seattle fee. This is one of your line items now. So literally they jacked the prices. They did everything all at once. And then they added a whole new line fee of, hey, you have to pay $2 or $2.50 or whatever it is, because Seattle made us do this. So order volume's down. They can't use acceptance rate anymore. And I know we were talking about the fact that, we all need this, but I've definitely come to the conclusion that with the removal of acceptance rate, all these legislations better have caps. I know some of them do, but in Seattle, we're seeing what that does, because everybody is allowed to dash now. So you don't need.
But they're allowed to dash now, but they're not getting many orders from what everybody's complaining
there's my
about.
point. There's my point. Without a cap on the drivers, everybody can dash now. I don't know if we talked about it on here or if I got it after the fact, but there was a person up in Seattle who did 43 hours of dash time, and they did 2 hours and 58 minutes of active time last week. And they don't multi-app. I mean, to me, so you made $50 for a week.
It's crazy.
I mean, this is obviously I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that's not even a thought. I pivot. I do something else.
There was a whole bunch of articles, even this past week, that came out that was really saying how much like they want to reverse what's happening in Seattle, because it's literally causing like havoc between the economy, between people just not ordering. Like it's hurting the restaurants. Like it's literally hurting the industry as it is, including gig workers. So it's a mess over there.
Sure.
I mean, I know Brandon hasn't even been able to, really dash in a long time, or it's not worth it. I mean, so I know he primarily does Spark, and we'll get to that. But I mean, like I'm talking a long time ago. I feel like his market dried up long ago, long before we were even starting to see what we're seeing everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. I think that day off in Seattle thing, this whole thing is getting messed up. And it's scary, because this is what happens if you don't.
It's worse than New York
this
City.
Legislation. Yeah, if you do this legislation, you better make sure you're putting a cap on something, or because you can't need 1,000 people. The companies want 3,000, but now the legislation allows everybody to dash now, so you have 10,000. I mean, it's at a point where the person who emailed me that was
I
saying that
think I think everywhere needs to.
have a cap.
No, I was
I
just
mean,
gonna say.
I don't know. What do you guys
I
think
think
of
every
caps?
area, including Canada,
Yeah,
I think
used
every
to
area needs to have a cap, regardless of state legislation.
about 2
It
years.
really should be.
About 2 years ago, Grubhub had caps in my market anyway, and they were only putting on so many drivers, and then they removed that cap, and it flooded it. And now you can turn Grubhub on, and you can get on there, but you can go all day or even 2 days and not even get an order because there's just so many drivers. And Wichita Falls is not even that big.
You
I
see
don't think
what's
any of us
scared.
up here count on Grubhub, though.
No, but I'm just saying that used to, that was every order was about $18, every one of them. It didn't
Yeah.
matter if it was going a block or 2 miles, 5 miles. It was about $18 and up. But what this deal you're talking about is basically the same thing. If they're opening up DoorDash where everybody can get on there and dash now, it's going to do just like Grubhub did. It's like Kim said a while ago. Sure, you can dash, but you're not going to get offers. There's going to be 1,000 other people ahead of you.
And plus, I mean, I'm not for the tiers either, but obviously all the tiers go away. They don't mean anything if you can just always dash now. I think they
They'll
just have
still figure
opened the
out a way to
floodgates in
make tiers.
Seattle and said, okay, screw it. You guys are all on and you just fight for every order by proximity.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, that's what we've always asked for. The problem here is that let's say that only 1,000 are needed on any given night. And on most nights, it's 500. We know the apps would like to put 1,500 or 750 on those nights. And to me, okay, I understand that from a bar owner perspective. Even I understand that. I understand wanting to have a few extra people just in case. But what they end up doing is doing way more than that little extra cushion. And now I think they've just opened the floodgates to see, let's see what this does. Because I don't know about you, Kim, but this week there's been a lot of news that has been like even some of the people who put this into place saying we might need to get rid of this.
Yeah, I think they're second guessing what they thought was a good idea. Like they're seeing what are we into? What, probably 2 months in now at this point with Seattle, 3 months? I think they're starting to see, wait a minute. Like it's not just affecting drivers, it's affecting other industries and it's affecting the economy in Seattle. So it's not good.
And then Michelle, what about you? Because your market's always good. I mean, we see a lot of, Pedro's down there. We see other people down there too. We watch them and I've always said Seattle's got a strong gig market, not just DoorDash, but what is DoorDash like now?
Well, I have noticed a huge change since the by hour has come in. I know that there's a significant amount of people here doing the per hour. In my area, it pays $15.75 out of peak pay. When it goes into $2 peak pay, for whatever reason, it goes up to $19.75 an hour. And then you can't even get on the by hour anymore. And I have noticed there was a time where there was never a lapse in orders. They were constantly coming. And since that per hour came in, it's over.
Mhm.
The only reason why I can move to another area. I can do that and get orders, but I'm in the large order program and I've got that down pat. I know where to get those every day. So that's what keeps me alive. Other than that constant order since the per hour, I can't believe people are doing it, but they do
Right.
it.
Oh, absolutely. And they're doing it to keep a lot of reasons to keep the fake AR up. They're like propping the system, but at the same time, and we've talked about this. Look at straight up. That's what's killing things though, because the algorithm can barely sort when we're all just on. But think about an algorithm that knows you're on by Earn By Time and can only skip 1 per hour. It
Right.
all of a sudden can say, okay, he can cover this. This person's good. I mean, it has a lot better of a grip on how many are needed then.
And my market is so huge. It's about a 3 million market, and DoorDash has everything here. They have the shop and pay. They have, the shop at the Dollar Generals. They have the shop at the Walmart. Every single place that you can shop, grocery stores where they're getting, 75 items shops. That could take you 2 hours to do. I mean, they take drivers out, but there's no shortage of those kind of things. I didn't get into this business to do that. I'm not going to carry 3 cases of water up 3 flights of stairs. I'm not interested in that.
So I know you dash though. How's it going?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do 150 to 200 a day, and that's doing my other businesses as well. So as I said, but I get the catering and the fine dining and all that, and I do 50-50. I think I told you how it rolls out, Uber Eats and DoorDash. So between the two, 150 to 200 solid. And it's and holidays have been good. The first of the year was great. All, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, you name it, it was just happening.
Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
so
funny you say that, because most of us up here don't often have a lot to say about Uber Eats, except for Cheyenne, because Uber Eats is stronger in Canada. I mean,
I love
DoorDash,
Uber Eats.
Yeah. So yeah, our Uber Eats here. My son and I were doing it tonight, but they have no trouble sending you lowball offers, and they want you to go 29 miles, and that's not happening.
right?
So I think
But
they
the
have.
people are doing it. Otherwise, Earn by Time wouldn't be, because I've seen it too here. And here, oddly, it doesn't have to be peak pay. Ours is $18.50. And don't let people don't let you think that means that DoorDash is solid here because they're paying $3 more in St. Louis. I've always told you DoorDash is awful here. Tony will tell you DoorDash is awful here. I mean, those of us that live here can tell you that. I mean, we still use them maybe, and they use them more than I do, but nonetheless, like even Tony, he's doing delivered and curry pretty much these days. And he has, I don't know. He's got that top dasher status, even that meant something or whatever, or the diamond or whatever it is, elite or whatever you diamond gem people are called. I don't know.
Really? You're diamond
Well, I'm a
people?
bottom feeder. That name isn't good either.
The high priority. I call that my group. I call that all the DoorDash trickery. Who's falling for the trickery today? And the people that are falling for the trickery is pretty amazing. That's the biggest from doing groups 4 years ago and doing it today. It's going from cherry pickers and top decliners to having 100% acceptance rate. You're tops. I mean, it's such a difference. I can't rally in that, because if I did 70 to 100% acceptance rate in this market, I might as well just say forget it. I'm not going to do charity runs. It's just not what I'm here for.
No, none of us. This isn't. I'm not a nonprofit. I don't know.
Exactly.
You're a nonprofit.
Well, that's exactly why they have added on so many drivers, is because they know somebody's going to take it. If they throw it out $1.50, somebody will take it.
Yeah.
I think
that's bad.
I go as far as to say if they threw it out at a zero-based pay, people would take it.
Brandon, people
So
group, $1 is $1.
Yeah. I'd rather make something than sit. Well, actually, it costs you to make that. So making more money by sitting.
So
I don't
Thomas
quite agree.
Thomas is speaking about the LOP here, and I'm glad, like, for anybody that this is the case, I'm glad for you. But I do hear from a lot of people who have LOP in other markets that it's not what it was, and it's not really helping them that much anymore. So I don't know how everybody feels about that one, but I mean, I do know it's obviously market to market on everything, but so I'm glad to hear that it works for Thomas. I mean, Kim, do you still get a lot of LOP, or are you more getting delivereds? And
Yeah, I'm still LOP. I still get
no, I know you are. Are you still getting them as often?
Yeah, 3-4 times
You
a
do?
day,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I make most of my DoorDash money, is on LOPs.
Right. I didn't know. I figured it probably went down some. I mean, DoorDash volume is down across the board, so I would just imagine it's gone down.
No,
I don't know.
It's where I make the LOP, but I know you guys are talking about diamond, but for my area, like, I have to, in order to make the money I need to be top dasher, and I need to be in the diamond priority program. It's the only way in my area that's going to make it work to actually do money on DoorDash. So
It's probably the only way it works in my area, but having a 17% acceptance rate isn't good in the eyes of DoorDash, I guess. I don't know.
no, it's
I-
not.
Like
just
I
looked
guess
at
that
my-
doesn't make me a top dasher.
So
just
Kim,
looked
I'm
at-
wondering, because I know you documented a while ago how you were able, you know, how you brought the AR up. How do you maintain it up? Because I know you haven't, like, you
well,
don't decline and then go back up.
To me,
You
there's a math.
maintain.
Yeah, so there's a math. I've been doing it for so long, like I don't even think about it anymore. But like the real crap of the crap, I still don't take. But I know I usually average around 100 deliveries per week. It's usually what I average. So you can actually decline close to 30 orders per week. So break it down however many days a week. Like you can almost decline like 4 or 5 per day. Some are better than others. So it's just an average. I mean, everybody has their own minimums. Like I've always had the minimum of $1 per mile. I've always been the dasher that I never sit still. I always constantly go. I always take orders. Like it's always been my mentality even before the Diamond program even rolled in. But you know, like I said, that's how it works for me in my area. But I am one of those top dashers. But I'm also averaging about $1,000 to, you know, $1,200-$1,500 a week. It just depends on the week and what's going on.
Nice.
So I see that I don't necessarily know, Autobahn, that people, I mean, I absolutely, yeah, people disagree about everything, but I have no issue with people disagreeing with this. But because most zones won't give you this, but I've had decent success seeing almost all Diamond with Top Dasher. See, this is what I'm talking about when we're talking about these differences of markets, because I mean, clearly he's seeing something I can't see, but again, I'm not on those levels, so I actually can't compare. Tony Driven Dad is in my market. I talk to him often, and he tells me that no, this is not the case for him either, though. So it is really market by market. I don't really know what else to say about that.
We don't have the tiers yet.
I don't have the tiers yet. I'm still Diamond.
I'm wondering what's going to happen to Cheyenne's market. I feel like she's sitting over there going, I saw a comment back to Thomas saying, oh, no, that's never going to happen over here. Like, or I don't think so. And I'm just wondering, because I know these companies aren't just sitting by going, let Canada do what they want.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they have a plan. I'm sorry to say they have a plan for you.
Oh, for sure. I know it's going to come because
sure
look, the completion rate came.
This.
We're exactly. We're usually like a few months after you guys, so I'm sure it's coming.
I mean, do you see anything happen? I mean, we know that you had to finally submit your whatever the social is for Canada.
Oh my God, people are freaking out about that right now. Like, it's no joke, the amount of, because we're approaching tax time now. So everyone's asking about, like, you know, their tax forms. But now it's getting to the point where people actually see that DoorDash and Skip have given the CRA our income. So you can go onto the government's website and see kind of like an electronic version of your slips.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Skip the Dishes, an amount, DoorDash, an amount. So now they're like, oh my gosh, so now the government really knows how much I made. And I'm like, why are we surprised? Like, this is what you should have been doing from the beginning. So yeah, a lot of people are freaking out right now because they realize that they can't evade taxes anymore.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean,
Crazy.
I won't point out any people's names. You know who you are, but I know some people in this community who haven't. I know one person who hasn't filed their taxes in 3 years. Like,
Well,
nothing, no extension. I don't think nothing. Just
if you
like,
bring
Knock, knock, knock.
and that's what I said. I said, listen, call the IRS and tell them that you're having a hardship or whatever it is and get on a plan with them. They're like, no, why would I do that? And I'm like, because if they catch you, it's a hell of a lot worse.
So you see, that's where things are different with you guys. So with us, that's what I heard. So in the States, you guys can go to jail if you don't do your taxes. Over here,
our jails are overcrowded, though.
It's called tax evasion.
Right.
So you see the thing with here, because myself as well. I'm behind like a year in my taxes. It's kind of bad. But all you do is they like send you a notice and they're like, hey, we noticed that you're behind. Like I remember one point I was like a year behind and then I had my daughter. So then I was a little bit more behind. And they called and they were like, oh, do you need any help like filling out your tax forms? We realized that you didn't file. And I was like, no, I had an emergency C-section, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, we'll give you an extension. But there's nothing like all you're doing is just paying extra fees. So it's like
here you have to file for an extension and then you have to wait to receive a letter back. If I was there, by the way you just described it, I would just tell them every year, like, I don't want to pay him. So I'm just gonna sit this year out, you know, like bye.
That's one thing though. You can't do that.
Well, I mean, how many years can you extend it though? It doesn't sound like a very strict system.
It's not a strict system.
Why do people pay their taxes?
Well, because you're supposed to. But I know people that it was like a good 3-4 years that they were behind. And that is just, you know, they get a letter saying like, oh, you're behind. But also what the government does over here, I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but anytime that, like, let's say you're behind, they'll automatically calculate it based on like historical numbers. And then it's up to you to provide the information to say whether that was accurate or not. So they're still kind of calculating things for you. And then it's for you to be like, okay, no, like I should have received more, or I should have like.
Even for employees, how do they treat the employee ones? Like, so they don't, they can't even say you owe us this. They're just like, hey, listen, based on this year, pay us this. Like,
yeah. So even for the employees,
I only made half as much. So shut up.
But even for the employees, because the employer has to give the information to the government. So technically they already have everything, right? So they just calculate it. But then obviously the way that they calculate it, you're not going to have all the credits that you maybe would normally have. So like, you're not going to be able to like file for your children and all that kind of stuff. So for them, they're like, okay, we calculated something and you're going to pay us and there's going to be interest. But for you have an advantage of, okay, but it bought me a little bit more time, but now I need to give them the proper information so that I can get back whatever I get back every month, if you get back anything.
Can't, like parts of Canada, I'm from Michigan. I used to go up there often. I know it well. And I love Canada. But like there's parts of Canada I love things about. This I love. This makes me almost close to moving there because I would just every year be like, nope, not interested in that. Not paying. Like, nope, I only made $5 this year, so I'm gonna send you 10 cents. Like,
that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Because even if you made $5, like you still have things to pay into, right? Because don't forget, healthcare is free here, so you have to pay into that. So there's still going to be like a certain amount that you're going to owe them. So yeah,
you know, oddly we all pay into free medical too. We just don't get it till we're 65. But like, you know, I mean, like we all pay in.
It's called Social Security.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's but it's just like the value of our dollar. It's like every year, like, oh, do we have enough to keep this going? Like, so why am I paying in if when I get there, it's not going to be there? Like, you know, I'd like a system of everybody's paying in and that's what's available that year. Like,
oh my gosh.
You know, like, just like everything, we're behind. We're always behind, but
Medicare goes up, Social Security goes up.
Yeah, there's
Medicare. When Social
Security
payments go up, so does Medicare. So the older people still don't get a advantage.
Yeah, no, that's it's just a lose unless you're covered through a work or you privately have good insurance. It's just a joke of the insurance here. It's almost I would compare it to how you described free insurance in Canada, Cheyenne, when like you were saying like, yeah, it's here, but like if you want something good or faster, you might want a doctor, or, you know, like so I get that, but I feel like that's like you're stuck with this broken system unless you want to pay for it.
Exactly. Everyone keeps complaining about the fact that our healthcare system is completely broken over here, which is true. It is completely broken. It's horrible. It's free, but you can like pretty much die sitting in the waiting room while you're waiting. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
So
I would
they
also
pay-
wonder how the doctors get paid too. So I mean, like, if are your doctors making 40,000 a year, and they're just like, I'm not even that good. Like,
So no, I don't know how much they get paid, but I know they're pretty well off because they do swipe your Medicare card every time, right? So the doctors are getting paid because they swipe your Medicare card. It's
unless
just coming
everybody's
out
saying I'm
from the
not paying my
government.
taxes.
Well, there's that. But they're getting the taxes from the people that work.
Yeah, I get right. But now that's exactly why this happened and why they need, what is it? Not your EIN or your social, but whatever you guys call
Your
the
business number, yeah, your
this
TIN.
is why they need
That's
it. And this,
exactly
everybody's
why.
like scared because they probably don't pay in.
Yeah,
They're like, wait, I'm an independent contractor because I don't pay taxes. So wait, I don't like this.
exactly. That's exactly it. You're getting so many scenarios of like, well, if I'm working full time, do I really need to declare this? Yes. Like,
Yeah.
yes. Ellen had a good question. She was wondering if anyone files quarterly.
No.
Nope.
Oh, I do. I pay my employment taxes. My accountant gives me slips every year, and I pay every 4 quarters. But if I bring it up to my group, they all laugh.
Well, Kim and I were talking with a company that hopefully starts to really kind of take off here. We won't mention it, but they kind of do it for you quarterly. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about that soon, but it sounds very interesting, and they take care of your stuff. So it's for gig workers. I don't want to jump a gun or anything, and they're not until they're fully launched, but I don't know. I thought it looked like a good thing. So
Well, if we represent the gig economy, the percentage from last year is that 16% of, I don't know about Canada, but the United States is involved in some part of the gig economy. That's huge. So anybody that wants to be a part of it and work with us, they'd be smart to get on that boat, because there's no such thing as a normal job anymore. When I was young, you'd go to an apartment building in the day, and there'd not be a car on the lot. I go to apartment building to deliver food at lunchtime. I can't find a space. They're all
I know.
home working, they're
Or
doing
not
gig work,
working.
are not working. But I can't find these apartment parking lots used to be empty during the day. They just, because people weren't home. Now they're home, and they all have nice cars, and these are not incredibly nice neighborhoods. So, I mean, these are
Probably all
things
those
that I
pandemic
noticed.
checks. They were like, I'll just buy a.
Yeah. These are things that I personally know. Of course, we have a very low cost of living here, and we have one of the lowest gas taxes in the nation. And so there's a lot of pluses. That's why, St. Louis is home to lots of sports teams. We have sports stars that never have left here because they figure, hey, I can live in the middle of the United States, have a great house, get a lot of bang for my buck, and be on a hub. I can go anywhere in the world that I want to because I'm living here. I actually, a couple nights ago, I delivered to a hall. What do you call the rock musicians that are in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of
The
Fame person?
Cleveland Rock and Roll Music Hall of
Yes,
Fame. Yeah.
yes. I delivered to their house. I knew and it was the second time I delivered there, and I saw the young wife. The guy actually had a hit in the 50s, and he's still and it's been in lots of movies. Anyway, I don't know, I'm a fan, but they stay here. Actually, like I said, we have sports stars, we have lots of entertainers. Hey, Nelly lives here, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, no, it doesn't look, we're a very craft beer state here, but you also are home to Budweiser. And I mean, that is a big deal.
yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Also, I've delivered, because I go right to the tax records. I'm not a stalker, but I like to know who I'm delivering to. And I'm like, God, who lives in this house? And lots of captains of industry. And I have delivered, I don't mind saying it, to the Bush's house many, many, many times. And in fact, if I saw their address come up, I just deliver to their house. I enjoy
Yeah, of
going there.
course.
They're not great tippers. I mean, they're average tippers. But I don't expect that. And that's another fallacy. people will send in I just delivered to this house, they're putting a typical $2 million house, and guess what the tip was? You can't equate to what their net worth is to what they're going to give you on the tip. They're going to probably just tip average tips like everybody else.
Yeah.
Or everybody's lying to you and they're tipping great and they just don't want you up in that neck of the woods.
That could be, and that's going to be a throw out question to my group very soon is, how do you feel about other Dashers? And that's something early on in my discussion with Pedro was, do you feel like we're competitors? And he and I feel the same way about almost everything. And no, I mean, I don't look at other Dashers as my competition because first off, it's not it's a side hustle for me in a way. That's, if I gave it up tomorrow, it wouldn't hurt me. I enjoy it.
But I
just did a video about that this week. Whether we think drivers are competitors with each other, because I had an incident with the driver this past week.
What kind of it was? It a competition type?
I don't know. It was just weird. Like, I walked into a local pizza place and they know me by name. And, when you are full-time, right, you get to know your drivers around your area and they get to know your face. And I walked into a pizza place and I said, hey, and they're like, hey, Kim, who are you here for? And I said who I was here for. And they go, oh, it's just going to be a couple more minutes. So I stepped back and there was a driver right next to me. And normally I just say, hey, what's going on? And he went like this. He went, oh no. And then started like chatting and like texting someone on his phone. So I don't know whether it was like, hey, this girl is here, be aware she's in the neighborhood. I don't know, but it was like the weirdest thing. And I'm like, wow, do people actually view people as competitors? And then like I was trying to think of myself, like I don't think I view other drivers as competitors, but I'm really observant about what goes on in my own area, if that makes any sense. Like if I'm in a parking lot with other drivers, I want to know what restaurants they're going to, what orders they're picking up, because you can really learn your own market by doing that. So I don't think I think of them as competitors. I'm just really observant during downtimes.
Since Zach's in here and he's not up here tonight to take the other side of you, Kim, I'm gonna argue the other side. I'm gonna prove that they are competition because if you aren't getting any orders, you're gonna move. You're gonna go find a new spot. You're gonna adjust. So of course they're competition. You wouldn't sit somewhere where you're like, I don't view these people as competition. I'm just not getting any orders. Like you're gonna move.
But there are times though, if you're sorry, Michelle. I was gonna say, but there are times. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the viewers comment that came up real quick was they wanted other drivers out of their zone as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You like this one?
For me, I'm always competing with oversaturation. But if I am busy and I'm taking order after order after order, I'll be honest, I could care less what other drivers are doing as long as I'm making money. Like I care about me and the money I'm making. I could care less. You can have those $2 orders, those $4 orders, go right ahead and take them. I'm going to do me and take whatever orders that I need to do to make my money. So.
Well, Steve, I'll throw something interesting out at you along those lines. We also had a big marquee post about top dashers. Of course, the big feature is Dash Now, but also they sign up for scheduling to take that time out of the schedule to keep drivers off the schedule. Do you think DoorDash knows that? Do you think that they're letting you double dip in that situation? Giving you the Dash Now and allowing you to, yes, they're doing a 12 to 12 schedule as well as their Dash Now in order to prevent people from hoping. Now they don't know.
Yeah, they
because
don't know.
Does anybody know? Does anybody know the algorithm?
I was just going to say, I wasn't even going to answer the
know?
question. I was going to say, I don't think they care. That was going to be my answer.
Well, they're doing that to prevent, to put the schedule out there to prevent other Dashers from getting on the schedule. And there are some people, it was about a 50-50 in this marquee post as to, hey, really sucky of you to do that. And others were saying, genius, I'm going to do that too.
They're going to apply the same thing.
I do it. I'm not going to lie. I do it.
So you do the dash now and you take the schedule.
I schedule.
That's fair.
I have the dash now and I schedule at the same time. Because I don't know
To
whether
be honest,
it works or
a
if it
year ago,
doesn't.
I would have said, how dare you, Kim? But now I would say, good for you, Kim, because
yeah, like genius.
If it's going to kick somebody,
but Kim's market has been just trashed.
It's been trashed by all these. Yeah. I went into it before, but it's so oversaturated that and I don't know whether it works, but if it gives me a leg up and if it's going to kick someone out of my area that doesn't belong there from other states, then you know what? Bye-bye. Have a good day.
That's the only one that bothers me. Not the other dashers that I see on a regular basis, and those have kind of cycled through, but the ones that do come in from out of the area, and that kind of does bother me. That's the only thing that does.
Right, and I don't know how much that's happening to you, but like Kim being so close to New York, it's happening a lot to her. I mean, she even sees the out-of-state plates, so it's, I don't know. You know, I know that
it's all the illegal drivers. Honestly, it's out of control. So
it is.
If I can do anything to do on my part, then you know what? That's what I'm going to do.
Well, but Kim, the only thing I'm asking, I have no opinion on that because it does. I don't think it affects me, but I'm just wondering if DoorDash knows that you're already a top dasher and that they've canceled out your schedule, that they're not taking that schedule. I mean, we don't know. And if I'm not a top dasher, but I'm pretty sure I would do the same thing. I would still schedule. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
So are you scheduling
I
because
absolutely
you're...
would now. We've become, you know, Brandon's state's shipping us people now. So we're a migrant city now, and it's changed the whole dynamic completely. I mean,
we're a red state, so I mean, real red.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and
Kim, are you scheduling because you're afraid? Because you know how sometimes like DoorDash would kick you off or whatever. So are you scheduling because you're afraid that, let's say your Dash Now doesn't work and you need to get back on? No, my Dash Now always works.
No, my Dash Now always works because I'm a top dasher.
You're not, Gary. Because Gary, you're talking about rideshare, bro. I know they kind of were, but the food apps weren't even around then, bro. Like, and it was the pandemic that was the reset of them. That was the jump start. So you'd have to say 2020.
But all jokes aside, though, like I've been doing this even before all oversaturation happened. Like I was so used to scheduling before I was top dasher. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, like it's just habit for me to go in, put in a schedule, go in, put in a schedule. Like my schedule hardly ever changes. So for me, it's easy to go in, put a week's worth in, and then just start.
This is crazy. So Chris Taylor is like being like, can you imagine? Like, hey, you're in my territory, shipped shopper. Like,
seriously,
maybe you're in mine. Like,
shopping apps though are crazy when it comes to like territorial, like Instacart. I've never really had it with Shipt, but man, people are territorial. Like they talk about a stare down. If they know you're an Instacart shopper, you get the stare down.
Yeah, when you're doing
when you're doing just wave at them and laugh, or
hi.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm a little closer to the store too.
When you walk with a phone, through Walmart doing a Spark order, you can see other people holding their phone and they're looking to see what's on your phone, what you're doing.
Wow,
and
really?
They want to. Most of them I kind of know, but there's a bunch of new ones that they want to know what you're doing.
I was in
gig mafias and stuff.
Yeah, but I was in a supermarket the other day in a shop, and the guy said, "Hey, we've been having." He knows I was a shopper at this point, but he said, "Hey," and he works for the grocery store. be careful, because there is certain shoppers that if you, like, say you leave your cart at the end of the aisle, go grab, put it in the aisle to be quicker with your shop. They said people have been like adding stuff to your cart without you knowing about it, or taking stuff away. So that way, when you go to check out, it flags Instacart. So they said, just be careful and to always have your cart with you, because people are doing some funny stuff. So it's competitive out there. It's crazy. Like, it's Instacart. Come on.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
That, I wouldn't, like what you were saying, Brandon, about looking at your phone. I've done Sparks, and if I had Walmarts closer to me, I would probably do them all the time. I literally have to go 10 miles in any direction to get to a Walmart. So it's frustrating to me. They offer me great bonuses, but I'm too concerned with what I'm doing to play those games. I couldn't imagine and playing games like that. I'm sorry that's happened to you.
No, some of them will just, if you're opening the freezer door, some of them will just walk in between you and there and grab their stuff and go. And there's 2 or 3 here that I know of that will do that. Very rude.
Where are you at? I don't know.
Wichita Falls, Texas.
Oh, well.
So,
North of
but I mean,
Dallas,
like
south
this,
of
that's
Oklahoma City.
that's a perfect transition to Brandon, because I was going to ask him about Spark, because he's primarily just doing Spark now. And Spark used to be, I know I watch his channel enough that Spark used to be really good in his market. I know he used to be good in a lot of markets, but what is it now?
The average orders are about $9 on average, or the offers, and they're generally 3 deliveries. So there's about the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of them that are like $8, which if you break it down, because some people say, well, that's an $8 base pay, but technically, no, it's not. It was coming out at about $2.50 a base pay, because $2.50 per order, because you can't count them all and say that's the base pay. You have to, if it's 3 drops or 4 drops, divide that by that, and people are taking them, and that is why they hire so many people.
Make an app, Gary. Gig Protector.
Well, Gary would probably know from all that he reads in our pro group is that people join us to say, what can we do together about base pay, now that you just mentioned base pay, because DoorDash has gone down to $2 essentially, and they're not, and if you do a stacked order, you're only getting paid for 1. So I'm never doing a stacked order again. And so I'm not giving them any free rides. And so we're telling them, they were at 3, then they went to 2.25, now they went to 2. They're going they're going down. They're not gonna take us back up. And so it's not gonna happen. I hear that's with Instacart too, because I know people, the $7 has been pretty standard.
Yeah, like the $8 base pay for 3 deliveries is the same thing that it used to be for 1. And
Right.
and now they've stacked all these, just like DoorDash did. That's either Uber or DoorDash is what I started off doing 4 years ago. So it's changed so much. Eventually it'll be $1 base pay, or as Steve said earlier, maybe even 0. But I look for it to be $1 within the next year.
Right. Just like my daddy used to say, at some point you'll be paying for the privilege. And I do believe they might be making us pay for the privilege to be on the platform. I see that in the future. I did a triple for Uber, and on one leg of the triple, it was a negative 67 cents. I did call them out on it. I called their earnings area as well. And they said, well, add all 3 together. You'll find out that you did make your money. I said, yeah, but seeing that negative 67 is bothersome to me. And that's not the only time. And so because of that, I stay away from stacked orders.
Yeah, so many people take, like on Spark, they'll take, say, a $7 order or even an $8 order, and it's going 9 miles. Then you divide that by your mileage and your time, your maintenance, your depreciation on your vehicle. You add that all up, and you are almost working to be a privilege to be delivering for Spark, Walmart.
Right.
I mean, I would ask Cheyenne, like, look, you've heard us talk enough about EBT, Earn by Time. I know you
Yeah.
don't have it, but so what?
No.
What is minimum wage in Montreal?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
You're like, I don't work for that kind of crappy money. Like,
I don't know. Oh, it says $15.25 an hour.
okay, so let's say that I'm just going to kind of do the comparison to my market. Let's be nice. Let's just say that when you got on DoorDash, sometimes you had an Earn by Time offer, and you were able to slide the slider over, and it said $19 an hour, guaranteed. And that's going to be for active time. You can only miss one order per hour.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay, everybody here in this country said that, and now we're all doing it. Not me, but I mean, like, everybody said no. Everybody said this is stupid, and now they're getting traction off it.
Personally, I wouldn't do it just because, and I think it's also different because I'm not full-time, right? So whenever I'm out there, I'm very specific. I'm out there to make money. I'm out there to maximize my time.
Is anybody out there not to make money?
No, but like I see the, it's 2:00, so it's a slow time. So I'm going to take this little order. No, I wouldn't be out at 2:00 then. If it's that slow, I wouldn't be out. So whenever I go out, it's prime time. It's either supper or it's like on a weekend. And it's going to be the time that it's busy. If it's dead, I come home because there's so many other things that I could be doing. Yeah. So it's very different for me versus like a full-timer, where full-time you're out there and you're trying to maximize while you're out there. So no, I wouldn't do the 19 because there's so many orders that I wouldn't take. There's no way. My market is way too big. I would be driving all over the place. No.
And that's, I mean, dude, not to throw an idea into DoorDash's head, because I'm sure they've had this on their own, but to be honest, if they were really smart, they would even try and get more people over to Earn by Time and make sure that those people are getting the tipped orders and that the other people who aren't doing Earn by Time are getting junk only, period.
Okay, now
and they were getting the long rides. They'd start really giving the good rides.
Talking because if DoorDash is listening to this, shut your mouth.
You think that I just said that, and they're like, nobody on our 1,000-person team thought of that.
Like, shut your mouth right there.
They're using AI to like scour all the DoorDash videos out there, and they just heard that idea.
Tim's like, if this happens next week, you're dead.
I'm gonna kill you.
6 months from now, it will come to pass.
Well, we just had our first mass deactivations from EBT, and it was all abuse of platform by basically stealing their time. And so many of these folks thought they had it all figured out, that they could go to one fast food restaurant at the end of, on one end of town and sit in the drive-through and do whatever they do for hours, and then go to the other end of the just go from one end to the other and do like 2 drives an hour. Shoe fly. And so mass deactivation, Earn by Time, it just happened, hundreds of them.
Mass deactivation happened with Walmart Spark last week.
Really? Oh,
they say that it was hacked. Walmart wasn't hacked. The platform was hacked. And
it was hacked by their team to see who's doing the worst. They're like, get off here.
Because
they just hacked themselves and said, we were hacked to the FCC.
Nationwide.
Right, but they probably didn't get hacked. They probably they were like, this is a good way to offboard 30% of our workers.
Yeah.
Wait, so they're saying that they got hacked, so it deactivated people?
Yeah.
But if that was the case, they could reactivate.
That was a rumor and there was a ton of people that got deactivated last week on Walmart Spark.
But if that's the case, they could reactivate them because this is all databases. All they need to do is backtrack and see who got deactivated.
Yeah, but that takes time. That could take 6 months.
They could, but they won't.
I studied information technology. That does not take a lot of time. They did those deactivations.
I think
that's why I say it was. I don't know it for a fact. I just know a lot of people got deactivated last week.
That's crazy.
And I think they
exactly
come out with
what they're not supposed to do. Like, okay, who's at the lowest acceptance rate? Who's wasting the most of our data and time?
Yeah,
those 10% deactivate them without cause. Like, okay,
well,
because then they just say it was the algorithm.
I don't.
You don't know how often they're saying this in court. You have no idea. And to the legislators and stuff, they're saying, I don't know. It was the I don't know. It was the algorithm is actually a term.
That's the funny part, and I say funny, strange with us, is that when they deactivate and people come on and say, "Look at my ratings. This is my rating," and all their customer ratings were good. I say, "You know what? Deactivations have no correlation with your ratings. You did something wrong, like mark stores closed multiple times, in
Oh
that
yeah.
in
And we know people who were straight up deactivated for that. And in fact,
yes.
who was it? Uber Phoenix. He had a week's worth of pay owed to him, got deactivated for doing
And they kept
exactly
it.
that, and
Yeah.
they kept the money for like
Yep.
3 weeks. Like that's illegal too. You're not if you get, I don't know about where he is in Arizona, but in most states you can go into any place that lets you go that day and you can demand payment
Right.
that same day. So I mean, the fact that they kept that and they're like, you're deactivated for doing this, and he's like, I didn't even do anything wrong. He's like,
Yes,
you guys have the restaurant open and they're not. I'm just sitting here taking
that's one of
advantage
those
of it.
that's one of those deactivation. Well, the people will say, "Well, what am I supposed to do? It's going to hurt my acceptance rate. They keep sending me orders." I say,
Great reason.
pause it. Pause your dash. Get the heck away from the store, but don't continue to claim the accept and then mark it closed, because making that $20 is not going to get you deactivated. Now you are making nothing and you've lost your precious account that you
But
will
why
be
not
coming to my
just
Facebook group.
but why not just do it correctly? Like the first time somebody says, "Hey, this is closed." I'm sure
Right.
I've even been in this, and I don't do as much DoorDash as you guys. Like I'm sure we've all been in a situation where like I was when I was recently doing one of my dashes, I went to a McDonald's where the person said, "Not tonight. We're done." And like I was like, "Huh?" And I went back out there and I got on with support, and he said, "I need to call he said, "Who'd you talk to?" I said, "It was the manager," and they got the door locked. Even I can't get inside. And but they have the drive-through open. They're not, he said, "No DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything tonight. We're not doing it." And so they called him and they gave me $5 or whatever for the cancellation. And they were like, "Yep, they're closed."
Was it DoorDash used to, it's been a couple of years ago, Taco Bell's here would close just at random times. But they would, I don't remember if it was DoorDash or Uber Eats would make you take a picture of the sign on the window.
They both do.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah,
I remember
they
one
both
of them.
Yes. Well, DoorDash would rather, they have a whole section to do that now. They'd rather you do it through the app than use one of their service workers. They're trying to do anything they can so you don't talk to a support person. And so, yeah, take a picture. And then also Uber does it on occasions. Uber is not as specific as DoorDash in that respect.
Yeah.
I just remember one of them did. So,
But Uber also, a lot of times you don't get that $3 when you do it through the app. So then you have to contact them afterwards. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
That's my rule too, is that I don't drive far to go pick up an Uber, because if something goes south, I've just driven 5 miles to pick up food. I'm only going to get $3 for doing it. So that used
I
to
guess
happen a lot
my
more.
point in saying that though was that, like, okay, now if the DoorDash rep has contacted McDonald's and he has literally gotten back to me and said, "Yes, you are correct. They are not. I've canceled the order. I've given you $5. Why wouldn't it just
You're asking them to be proactive, Steve.
But I'm saying no. I'm saying all this has already happened. I'm not.
Yes, but you're
asking
him to put something in the system to prevent other people from getting in.
But that's my point. Why not just click close?
Thanks for being here, Brandon.
Thanks. I got to go.
We're gonna wrap up here in just a little bit, but Brandon's got to go do his live, so we'll remind you when we shut it down tonight. But go see Brandon's live too. Brandon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks. See y'all later.
Yep.
Hi, Brandon.
Yeah, you're asking them to be able to put that in to help the next driver. I had this conversation with a few reps as well, because it's frustrating, especially when they cancel it because they're closed, but then you get the same order right back again. And you're like, but I just spoke to somebody. I get your frustration, but they're not going to do it.
I know, but it saves them money. Like, I mean, it would, okay, it'd be different if you were telling me some logic where they're losing money because of, or they would lose money by doing the right thing. That would seem very DoorDash too. Like, hey, this is the wrong thing to do and we make money from it. Let's do it. But they save money. They would save money. They would save Dashers from these bad orders.
Yeah.
I mean, they do the opposite too. I mean, again, guys, I don't Dash as much as a lot of you. You know, I do a lot more curry and other things, but I'll get an order for like a Chipotle out by the airport. And Kim, you know the distance from my house to the airport when you were here. It's pretty far, right? Okay, I'll see an order that 18 miles out from me. That Chipotle order is going a half a mile north to a hotel. Now, why wouldn't, I mean, I know that's Green Mountain over there. Why wouldn't you assign another Dasher to that, number one? But also I've seen it where they want me to pick it up at my Chipotle by my house and take it out to the airport. Like, that would be, the only reason for that would be is if the other one were closed. You know, I mean, like, why would you say, pick this up, drive it 20 minutes, 25 minutes to here? Like, and then as I'm a block away, there's another Chipotle right there.
Yeah, it could be that they took their tablet off.
And that's just what I was going to say. I think that they take their tablets off. I know that my Chipotle for 2 weeks took off their catering options because they didn't have enough people to make the orders. So what's Gary saying?
I think Gary's
Oh,
referring to the first
yes.
level support that, like, you know, where people say, if you hear a goat, just hang up. Like, you know,
Or chickens, roosters.
Well-
That's what I hear all the time. Roosters.
right. You know, at that point, just hang up. You know, nothing's coming to that.
I did 2 orders for DoorDash over the weekend, and my completion rate dropped. And I watched my completion rate like a hawk. I got the worst support person in 4 years, and she did not know the difference between AR and CR. She had no clue. And by that time I was done. I said, you know what? I'm going to take the hit and I'm never calling back again. I'll just do the 100 rolling and get rid of the percentage.
See, and DoorDash, exactly
She
what
had
they
no
wanted.
idea.
Exactly what they wanted to do happened. You called them. They gave you a support agent that can't do anything. She frustrated you so bad you'll never call back. They're like, perfect.
Correct.
That's what we want. We don't ever want
Yeah.
you talking to us. Stop.
They're going to give her a bonus.
That was it. That did it for me. It's just not worth it. And tonight I accidentally hit an Uber, which I would normally call and try to get, say I accidentally hit because it dropped in. Like, it's not worth my time. I'll take
Uber,
the hit.
you just cancel that way.
I did. I know. I just like to have, I'm a type A personality. I want to have the best. I'm not working for the acceptance rate because that involves money and time. And like I said, in my market, AR, I mean, my AR is 5.
It is. Nice.
5%.
Makes me feel good. I'm like, I'm strong with a 14. Like,
some days if I look up and I see 20, I'm like, how did this happen? And please drop it down.
Like, if the color changed, you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Why is there not red somewhere?
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm not like, if anything's not green, I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. Well, that was going to be the only thing I was going to say that has changed big time in Facebook groups. When I started Facebook groups, I couldn't believe that the badge of honor was having a 0 AR. It was be a decliner, be a cherry picker, wait for those 850 orders and all that, because 850 was the baseline to where there'd be a hidden tip. And we all kind of had it figured out where they added the quarter every time somebody declined. And now it's totally the opposite. It's everybody's in a program and everybody wants 100%. And they take everything. And
I'm like, I don't know about 100.
it's funny because I was
we
listening
have
to
so many.
I
that
was
have
listening to
100.
an interview with Matt Lafferty from Curry and I from November of 2021. And I was in there, I was telling him about an Uber thing that was going on. This is 2021. You guys might remember the volume was a lot better for even Uber Eats. But if you skipped one or two, you got put in like the crap section where you had to do like 5 in a row
Yes.
blindly. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They'd say,
Like you have to
you're
take the next
3
5
minutes
or else you can't
away.
be on the app.
It would say 3 minutes away, and it wouldn't tell you what restaurant you were going to.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you skipped any, you got put into
Mhm.
like that
Yeah.
purgatory, and then you had to take
I
5
called it
blindly.
Uber Eats jail.
What is
What'd
it?
you call it?
I called
What'd you
it
call it?
Uber Eats jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, though, I was laughing because I'm thinking, man, they don't even have the volume to do that now. If they tried that, nobody'd work the app.
They can still do it in my market.
I see a big decline. My decline in Uber Eats in my market came when they took over Postmates. Uber was so much better before they merged and took Postmates in, and the orders are still coming in as Postmates.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
can
mean,
still
yeah, in
order.
some markets they killed Postmates off in ours, but I know California ones too, and others. And yeah, they keep Postmates around because if enough people have it, they're fine with just not ever telling those people Postmates isn't around anymore. It's like, listen, you like Postmates? Cool. Yeah, it's still a company. We got you. Like, I think they just did it by volume. So like if you're in Denver, the Postmates after the merger that, it was only like 2% and they'd get rid of it. But if it was like 30%, they'd be like, just keep the Postmates brand because you can still get the app even.
Right.
So, and yeah, it doesn't even exist. So, I mean, hey, what's up, Dana? By the way, guys, wish Dana luck. He's running for school board.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, good
School
luck.
board what?
Good luck.
So,
What do you mean by school board?
It's a political subdivision. It means that you're like over a school district, and so you make decisions about curriculum, maybe hiring and firing superintendents and things of that nature.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get a big whip, crack
Yeah.
the whip in that office. Like
Schools in the States are under local control. So
I
it's a
see.
local thing, and it's a political subdivision. And where I live, your real estate is impacted by the school district you live in. The better the school district, the better your the more expensive your house probably is. People move into school districts, and the real estate is listed by school districts.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and knowing, okay, so that's my other tip that I give newbies to our groups and think, know your market. So if you don't know your market, from your customer to the restaurants to the streets, and figure it out and know where you're going, because I can travel all back roads and get to where I need to be. But knowing your market, I think, is a great tip.
of course, yeah, and knowing
Definitely
where, I
don't
mean,
rely on
also
the map.
knowing on what nights where is oversaturated. I mean, everywhere is, but where's
Absolutely.
the worst? Like, don't sit there,
Yeah.
like, and you won't know that your first night. Clearly,
No.
it's going to take you some nights of going, wait, every Friday I'm here and I don't get anything. Well, then move.
I would say that when you just said sit, I would say that about Uber Eats. I used to think that Uber knew if you were moving or not, and if you weren't moving, you weren't getting orders. If you know what I mean, Cheyenne? That if you sat, they knew you sat, but if I started to roll a little bit, I'd get sent orders.
Yeah. Always. It's always that curse. And it's always an order for like a restaurant behind you.
Of course, you just missed the exit. Story of our life.
So, Kim, I know you've been doing a lot of delivered. I mean, I don't think we're going to get into these other topics, you guys, as we're near the end. I think that was a good session. I had other topics here, and we didn't get into them. And the only one I will hit on real quick, I wanted to ask Kim a question too, but is that today the promise that was made to California residents by Uber has been broken. The Uber Teens starts today. They promised in California they would not allow it. They just allowed it.
Oh, that must be why we're getting all these things about people worried they're going to be delivering liquor to kids now. I've been seeing a lot of that online.
Yep. And they were like blessing it in the articles. They're like, parents will have the right to say how much their kids can spend. Okay, well, how about where's the safety of them not getting kidnapped?
That's the
Like,
thing.
that's what I would care about, that more than the limit. You know, like, to
Which
me, I
is
guess
California.
the
Why
point's
would
the point's being missed. The point is it's you know, it's very dangerous. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I don't
That's
often give
crazy.
California credit, and now I'm going to have to retract the little bit I did give them, because that's just crap. You guys were the only state that was holding out. All the rest went to Ubertine. And now you guys are like, whatever, it's fine. We don't, you know, we got a lot of population anyway. If a few kids go missing, so be it. That's what it is. I'm sorry, you know, it is straight up a not caring. But Kim, the question I was going to ask you is, so like I really wanted to ask you this specific question. So year to year, like this month, is as best you can remember, to last year this month, what percentage of your earnings, you don't have to say amount, but what percentage is DoorDash last year and this year in like February? Just in a
probably
guess.
about
I
the
know it's a year ago.
Honestly, it's probably about the same, if not maybe a little less.
Okay.
Just because last year I was using every app that I could during January and February to get through like the slow months. It's just working. I'm still multi-apping, so it's not just all about DoorDash. It's all about, you know, Uber. It's all about, you know, Instacart. It's all about, you know.
Well, that's why I
catering
asked, because
apps
I know
that
you're doing
came
more
in.
delivered. Yeah, I know you weren't doing any Instacart a year ago.
Yeah, I was. I did. I started Instacart
Okay,
again
okay.
last January. So yeah, I was doing Instacart around this time last year. It's kind of that
But you
filler
got more,
that,
but
you
you
know,
have more
sometimes you
now.
need.
You do more
Now
Instacart,
what?
I feel
More
like,
what?
anyway.
Yeah, I do. If that, I hate to say, I'm working differently. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm literally, whatever app gives me the best orders, whether it's DoorDash, whether it's Instacart, whether I get a catering order scheduled ahead of time, I know to work that into my day. Whatever the best order is, I take it, no matter what app it is. I just know my market and what apps work better during certain days of the week and also certain hours of the week. And, you know, maybe that's also why I maintain DoorDash the way that I do, because I know when to turn it off and go to another app because they're giving me crap orders. So, you know, I know my market like the back of my hand at this point. So I'm
And I
still
mean,
making the same amount.
and some things that work in some markets might not even just be like, in your market might not even just be like, sometimes it's good, like it might not work at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we encounter that a lot.
It is. And, you know, just because I put catering in my mix this past year, it's not replacing anything. I feel like it's adding, if that makes any sense. It's not like it's replacing DoorDash, it's adding. But I don't get a catering order every single day. Like, I think I've done 4 catering orders this whole week. So it's not like it's an everyday thing. And even so, you can only really do 1, maybe 2 catering orders if you're lucky per day.
Right. Well, I don't
So
know.
it's just an adder.
I don't even know. Do you have delivered that? Are you on delivered that?
Okay. Yep, I did one this week. Yep.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess part of it's that your arsenal's bigger too. So I don't know. The bottom line is I don't, if anybody's out there making it without multi-apping, I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear it. I mean, making it too, not like the email I got from the guy in Seattle saying, you know, hey, I was on for 43 hours and I worked 2.5 or 258. Like, I'm talking about you're making enough money, because I don't think single apping's possible. I don't.
I mean, like I said, on DoorDash,
unless you're willing to earn less money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for some people, $1,000 a week just on one app is like really good. For me, I'm an overachiever and I want more, so I multi-app to get the more. So it just depends on your market. It depends on what your market is capable of doing. Like it just might not even be like Cheyenne, it might not be a good DoorDash market. It might be a good Uber Eats market, and that's where you make a majority of money. Or you might be a market that you need like 5 apps in order to make that bulk money. It's, I don't have any advice to give anybody, because what works for me might not work for Michelle, might not work for Cheyenne. Like it's trial and error and knowing your market and knowing your apps to get it right. And sometimes that doesn't even work.
Well, it's a long haul. If you think about what does it take to make $200, it's how you want to make that 200. Like I'm not burning the wheels off my car to make $200 in a day, but Kim, in my market, it's getting 3 good paying catering orders or just large orders. So, and that would be 3 that maybe hit $30 each. So I'm at 90 to 100 off 3 orders, and the rest were just good paying orders. Because, I mean, again, 200, did I do 20 orders at $10? That's not going to probably happen on DoorDash. It's not going to happen without multi-apping. And so I'm lucky that I live, think of Wizard of Oz land, where all the tornadoes are, that every day is a weather day. And bad weather is my friend. I can't wait to go out when it's horrible out. That keeps the dashers off the road, that makes everybody stay in, and it makes dashing amazing. So I'm looking for that horrible weather report.
I was waiting for you to find a different part of the Wizard of Oz to compare it to. I didn't know you were going to compare it to the beginning scene where it's like,
yes,
everything's blowing away and
everything's blowing,
dead, and all my neighbors died, so I can dash. Woo!
Yes, bad weather.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Hannibal.
Hey, Hannibal.
Bad weather is a dasher's friend, and people say, oh, don't go out, and like, this is opportunity, it's knocking, I have to go. Don't make me stop. I mean, so
here I feel like people get out in the bad weather because it does pay better, but I don't, maybe the orders aren't around as much. But I know, like, even Rideshare, we used to love to get out on those days. Because if it snowed here in Denver, there were people that just wouldn't go out at all. They'd call into a W-2 job, like, dude, it's snowing, I can't come in. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know where you live.
That's
it's going to snow here.
The reality is, in a Facebook group, like if I want to know something, I can ask a question right now and I'll get 300 people to respond to me, and they'll respond honestly. And so I know that there's a lot of people that don't dash at night. I know that the majority of dashers are between 25 and 35 years old. And who are they? The ones that have small children. So their schools have been called off. They're going to stay home. Most don't take their children dashing with them. That's a huge story. We usually don't post anything about children and dashing, because you'll get the people that agree and the people that want to call child services on you. So you get a little bit of everything. And so there's people who don't do the night. There's people who don't do bad weather. And so it comes down to me. I'm out there dashing. I'm willing to take the risk. And, I don't have the children at home. And I'm not afraid to go out in bad weather so so, and I can tell, especially on Uber Eats, when there's not a lot of drivers out, they want to send me everywhere, and the orders are coming rapid fire pace, just as fast as they can, and DoorDash as well.
Yeah,
that is true.
So hopefully I didn't give DoorDash any ideas. DoorDash, just forget I said anything if you heard me earlier. Like, I meant don't do that. Don't ever do that. But you guys, I mean, I think that's the only topic we're going to get through tonight, because we're at an hour 15 plus, and that's kind of where, I think everybody knows our goal is 60 to 75 minutes. That's our zone. Try and keep it in there. So I think that's a wrap for the week. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Brandon.
Bye, guys.
And by the way, guys, again, don't forget, go check out Dashing Grandpa. He's live right now. He always does a good live after ours. We used to promote it more. We need to remember to do that. And also, everybody watching on the replay, please post all your comments and questions and stuff into the chat, because I see a lot of people watch on the replay. So, but I feel like if it's not live, you're not commenting, please do. I'm like Kim, I respond to everything. Like if you put something in there, you're gonna get a response from me. So make sure that you are doing that. And be safe, earn smart, be great to each other. And you know, as Holly said, she loved that I said once when I ended this, don't be a dick.